Hello students, welcome in chemistry classes, and we are studying about the quantum mechanics, and today's topic is Huckel's molecular orbital theory, a very important topic. So now we have to study about this. Firstly, understand for what this theory is used. Actually it is used for finding out the pi electron energy of the conjugated systems. What is meant by conjugated systems? It means whenever there are alternative double and single bonds are present. Okay, suppose in these cases, here you can see this is double bond, then single bond, then double bond. It means it is a conjugated system. Okay, so all of them are conjugated systems, and this is the simplest one. Here this is not a conjugated system, but we take it here for example. Okay, so in Huckel's molecular orbital theory, we can find out the first thing, that is the pi electrons energies. Okay, and we can find out here the energy levels. We can find out the delocalization energy. And then wave function and charge density. And pi electron density. These all things, and we can also find out here the bond order. Okay, so about these of the things, the question has been asked in the question papers, and you will see all of these systems here. I will give you the explanation of all of these systems one by one. Firstly for ethylene, then 1,3-butadiene, and then allyl system. This allyl system is the most important system because several times question has been asked about the either allyl radical or cation or anion, anyone for the allyl system. And then these systems, cyclic polyenes like cyclobutadienes, benzenes, cyclopropenyl cations, all of them has been asked in the question paper. So I will give you the explanation of all of them, and what things we will discuss here. We will discuss here pi electron density, energy levels, delocalization, also how to find out the coefficients, then wave function, how to find out charge densities, and then pi electron densities, because question has been asked on these all topics. Okay, so firstly we will see the basic concept behind it, because to know the concept is very necessary thing. And then we will see the short trick. There are two formulas for the short tricks formulas for finding out the pi electron energy levels for the linear polyenes and for the cyclic polyenes. So we will discuss them also, but we should know the basic concept. Why? Because for wave function, if we have to find out the wave function or we have to find out the coefficient, then we cannot find out them by the short tricks. For this we should know the basic concept. Okay, so we will see both of things linearly with the help of example one by one. Firstly we have to see the basic assumptions that had been made in the HMO. Okay, so firstly see the basic assumptions made by the Huckel. Actually Huckel assumed about the conjugated planar polyene systems. We know, suppose we take this system, CH2 double bond CH, single bond CH, double bond CH2. This is 1,3-butadiene and it is a conjugated system. Okay, now see here, in this type of systems all the atoms are in the same plane. It means in this way, all the carbon atoms are here in the same plane, and all of them are sp2 hybridized. So these sp2 hybridized orbitals are used in forming the sigma bonds, while there is one remaining 2pz orbital. Okay, and the lobes of this orbital are above and below the plane, perpendicular to the plane of the molecule, in this way, right? Okay, so there is a sidewise overlapping between these orbitals in this manner, right? There will be a sidewise overlapping. So the pi bonds are formed by the sidewise overlapping of these pz orbitals. So these are the pz orbitals that are responsible for formation of pi bond. So actually according to the Huckel, the pi molecular orbitals are the linear combination of these pz orbitals. Okay, and if we see them in the mathematical form, then how we can write it? We can write it in this manner. This is the wave function for the pi molecular orbital, and this will be the linear combination of all the wave functions of this pz orbital. It means Ci psi 2pz I. Okay, these are the coefficients. So these are the linear combination of these pz orbitals. Suppose we are considering this one case. Here the number of carbon atom is 4. Okay, so this n represent the number of carbon atoms. In this case n is equal to 4. So here we can write that for this molecule the wave function will be a linear combination in this way: C1 phi 1 plus C2 phi 2 plus C3 phi 3 plus C4 psi 4. Here these phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, phi 4 are the wave functions for these pz orbitals. Okay. So for a n carbon atom system, it means when this n is the number of carbon atoms. Whatever the number of carbon atoms, we have to take a n into n secular determinant. Firstly, we have to make this one, okay, for finding out the energy levels. Suppose we have 1,3-butadiene, there are 4 carbon atoms, so we will have to take the 4 into 4 determinant. So how to make this one? For this, we have to do in this manner. Firstly, write H11 minus ES11, then write down H12 minus ES12, then write down H13 minus ES13 in the similar manner. How many is the number of n? We have to write down in the similar manner till the H1n2 minus ES1n, okay, in this manner. Then again we have to write down here H21 minus ES21, H22 minus ES22, then H23 minus ES23 in this manner till the n numbers. It means H2n minus ES2n. So here whatever the number, here will be the same number because this is a n into n secular determinant. So we have to write down in the similar manner till Hn1 minus ESn1, Hn2 minus ESn2, Hn3 minus ESn3 till Hnn minus ESnn, and this value will be equal to 0. Okay, so now we have to find out the roots of this determinant. Okay, and for this what has been assumed in the Huckel's molecular orbital theory? The assumptions that are made here are that, firstly see here, the value of this HII when both the numbers are same. For example, this H11, in this case its value will be equal to alpha. And what is alpha? Alpha is the Coulomb integral. Okay, and when Hij is given to us, Hij means when both the numbers are not same, like H12, like H13, like H21, etc. In this case there may be two conditions. One is that when there is a bond between I and J, there is a direct bond between I and J carbon atom. Suppose in this case H12 or H21. In these cases there is a direct bond between 1 and 2 carbon atom, 2 and 1 carbon atom. So in this case this value will be equal to beta. What is beta? Beta is the resonance integral. And when there is no direct bond between the two carbon atoms, suppose if we take a case of H13 in the linear polyenes, if we see this one C1, then C2, then C3, there is no direct bond between these two carbon atoms, so the value of this will be equal to 0, right? Okay, now we have to understand another term, that is this S. What is S? S is called the overlap integral. And it may have two values, one SII. When both are same, both carbon atoms are same value, it means suppose we are taking S11. or we are taking S22. In these all cases its value will be equal to 1. Okay, and when we have given Sij, it means when the two carbon atoms are not same, like S12, in this case its value will be equal to 0. Okay, so we have to put all these values in this determinant and then we have to find out the roots of this determinant so that we can find out the value of energy. Okay, so firstly we are seeing the example of the simplest molecule, ethylene molecule. Actually it is not a conjugated system, but it deals good with the HMO. It means HMO theory gives a better result for the ethylene molecule. So firstly we will consider the ethylene molecule. Now see here, here are two carbon atoms present. So value of N will be equal to 2. Okay, value of N is equal to 2. So we have to make a 2 into 2 secular determinant. And how to make it? I have already told you. Firstly write down in this manner. H11 minus ES11, then H12 minus ES12. As it is a 2 into 2, so we have to make only two values here. Okay, and then write down here H21 minus ES21, then H22 minus ES22. Okay, so this will be a 2 into 2 secular determinant, right? And its value will be equal to 0. Okay, now put here the values. This value H11 we know, this will be equal to alpha, and this E minus this value will be equal to 1, so its value will be alpha minus E. This value now, this will be equal to beta, so write down here beta, and this value we know is equal to 0, so E into 0 will be equal to 0, so this is beta. Now see here, this value will be equal to beta, direct bond between 2 and 1 carbon atom, so this is beta, and S21 will be equal to 0, so this value will be equal to 0, so now write down here beta, and similarly this will be equal to alpha minus E into 1, it means alpha minus E. Okay, so this is our secular determinant. Now we can divide whole the terms by beta, so we can write in this manner, alpha minus E upon beta, then beta by beta, and then again beta by beta, and here will be alpha minus E upon beta. This whole will be equal to 0. Okay, now we can assume that alpha minus E upon beta is equal to x. It means we have to assume here alpha minus E upon beta is equal to x. Okay, this we have to assume. So now what we are getting? We are getting here x, this will be equal to 1, this will be equal to 1, and this will be equal to x. Okay, so this will be equal to 0. So what thing now we have to do for solving it? We have to do the cross multiplication in this manner. Okay, so by cross multiplication we are getting x square minus 1 is equal to 0, or we can write here x square is equal to 1. So x will have two values, plus 1 and another one is minus 1, right? We are getting two values. Okay, so when we are putting these values in this equation, alpha minus E upon beta is equal to x, when we are putting here, what we are getting? Okay, see here, alpha minus E upon beta is equal to firstly plus 1. Okay, so we are getting here that E is equal to alpha minus beta. Okay, similarly if we are putting here the value minus 1, then we are getting E is equal to alpha plus beta. It means we are getting two energy levels, one is alpha plus beta and another one is alpha minus beta. Now see here, the value of B is always negative. Okay, so this term, that is alpha plus beta, will be lower in energy and this will be higher in energy. Okay, so we are getting here two energy levels. If we are making them, this will go in this way. Okay, this is the one level, that is alpha plus beta, this is the lower level, and another one will be the upper level, that is alpha minus beta. Okay, so now see here, we know in this case two carbon atoms are present, so number of pi electrons will be equal to 2, so both the electrons will be here in this label, right? It means there are two electrons in the alpha plus beta label. Okay, So the total pi electron energy in the case of ethylene will be equal to 2 into alpha plus beta. Why? Because both the electrons are in this level. Okay, but if we have to find out the pi bond energy, these two are different terms. If we have to find out the pi bond energy of the ethylene, then what we have to do? For this, assume if the two electrons are present in the two different pz orbitals, one pz orbital of one carbon atom, another pz orbital of another carbon atom, then in that case the energy will be equal to 2 alpha. So we have to just subtract this value from this one. It means 2 alpha plus beta minus 2 alpha. So what we are getting? 2 alpha plus 2 beta minus 2 alpha. So this value will be equal to now 2 beta. Okay, this is pi bond energy and this one is the pi electron energy. Okay, remember this thing. Okay, now we have to find out one more important thing. It means the wave function for the bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. It means we have to find out the values of this psi1 for bonding molecular orbital and psi2 for anti-bonding molecular orbital. For this, what we have to do? Just firstly write down the secular determinant. x1 1x is equal to 0. Okay, firstly write down here c1 and c2. These are the two coefficients and we have to find out their values. So for this we have to write down two linear equations. How to write down them? Firstly multiply this term. It means c1x plus c2 will be equal to 0, and then with this c1 plus c2x will be equal to 0. We are getting two linear equations. Now we have to put here the values of x. Firstly for the bonding molecular orbital. For bonding molecular orbital, the value of x will be equal to -1. Okay, so put this value here. If we are putting this value, what we are getting? We are getting minus c1 plus c2 will be equal to 0. So we can write down c1 will be equal to c2. Okay, so this is the value of the coefficient. c1 is equal to c2. We have to apply here the normalization condition. It means integration of psi star d2 will be equal to 1. Okay, so when we are putting here the values, we know that the psi is a linear combination of c1 phi1 plus c2 phi2. We can put this value here. So what we are getting? We are getting integration of c1 phi1 plus c2 phi2 whole square. Both the terms are same, so we can write down here the square. d2 will be equal to 0, and when we are solving that, what we are getting? We are getting c1 square, and this will be constant, so we can write down it outside. phi1 d2 plus c2 square integration of phi2 d2 plus 2 c1 c2 integration of phi1 phi2 d2. Okay, and this is actually 1. Okay, so this will be equal to 1, right? Now we have to apply the orthonormality condition. It means this integration will be equal to 1, this will be equal to 1, and this will be equal to 0. So what we are getting? We are getting c1 square plus c2 square is equal to 1. Okay, and we know that c1 is equal to c2, so we can write down here 2c1 square is equal to 1, or c1 square is equal to 1 by 2, or we can say that c1 is equal to c2 is equal to 1 by root 2. Okay, so these are the two values of the coefficients, and when we are putting them, what we are getting? We are getting the value of psi1. So psi1 will be equal to 1 by root 2 phi1 plus phi2. Okay, similarly if we are calculating for anti-bonding molecular orbital, we are getting that psi2 is equal to 1 by root 2 phi1 minus phi2. Okay, so these are the wave functions for the ethylene molecule. Okay, now this method was quite lengthy, I have done that for the ethylene molecule, but when you are doing that for the longer molecules, then you will find out that the solving quadratic equation is very difficult. So there is some short tricks or some short formulas by which we can find out the energies of linear polyenes and the cyclic polyenes. So we should consider them. Firstly, see that for the linear polyene. For this, the formula is Ej is equal to alpha plus 2 beta cos j pi upon n plus 1. Here n is what? N is the number of atoms, and j, the value of j will be equal to 1, 2, 3 in this manner till the value of n. Suppose if n is equal to 4, then its value will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if n is 5, then its value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in this manner. And for the cyclic polyenes, the formula is somewhat different. Here the value of energy is given by Ej is equal to alpha plus 2 beta cos 2 j pi upon n. Here the j value will be somewhat different. That will be 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, in this way till the value of n. Okay, so in this way we can put here the values, different values, and we can find out the energy levels. Okay, so we will consider them with the help of example. Firstly, I am taking the example of allyl radical, because I have seen that several times question has been asked from the allyl radical. So firstly, I am considering that one. Okay. Okay, so firstly we are seeing the case of the allyl radical, or we can say it the allyl system, because in all the system, if we are taking the allyl radical or we are taking it cation or anion, in all the cases we are taking the same type of secular determinant. It means there is number of carbon atoms equal to 3, so we have to take a 3 into 3 secular determinant. So firstly we are seeing here how to find out the energy levels with the help of that short formula. Okay, because I have seen that in GATE 2012 a question was asked, two questions was asked. One was that we have to find out the energy levels, okay, and next one was we have to find out the secular determinant. So firstly we are seeing here how we can find out the energy levels with the help of that formula in short manner. Okay, so for this we have to write down the formula for the linear polyenes. The formula was alpha plus 2 beta cos j pi upon n plus 1, right? Now here n value is equal to 3, so j may have 3 values, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so see here when j is equal to 1, then our value of Ej, it means E1, we can write here E1. Okay, so E1 will be equal to alpha plus 2 beta and then cos 1 into pi upon 3 plus 1. Okay, so see here alpha plus 2 beta cos pi by 4. Pi by 4 means cos 45 degree and its value is equal to 1 by root 2. Okay, so we can write here alpha plus 2 beta into 1 by root 2. So this value is equal to alpha plus root 2 beta. This is our one level. Okay, now for another case when j is equal to 2, in that case our energy level will be alpha plus 2 beta cos, now value is 2, so 2 pi by 4, it means pi by 2, and we know for pi by 2 it means cos 90 value will be equal to 0, so this whole term will be equal to 0 now. So what is our energy level now? This will be equal to alpha. Okay, similarly in third case when j is equal to 3, E3, it means alpha plus 2 beta cos, now this value will be equal to 3 pi by 4 and this value will be equal to minus 1 by root 2. Okay, so when we are putting here, this will come alpha minus root 2 beta. This value is equal to cos 3 pi by 4 is equal to minus 1 by root 2. Okay, so this will come alpha minus root 2 beta. So this is our third energy level. We can see here this n is equal to 3, number of carbon atoms is 3, so there will be 3 into 3 secular determinant, and there will be 3 energy levels, that we have alpha plus root 2 beta, alpha and alpha minus root 2 beta, and that was the question that has been asked in the GAT 2012. So in the case of the allyl system, there will be 3 different energy levels, and we know that the value of beta is always negative, so the lowest level will be alpha plus root 2 beta. Okay, then second one will be alpha, and the third one will be alpha minus root 2 beta. Okay, in this way there will be the energy levels. Now allyl system may be allyl radical, allyl cation, or the allyl anion. When we are considering the cation system, it means cations means allylic cation, or we can call it propenyl cation. When we are considering the cation, then in this case there will be 2 electrons. Okay, so these 2 electrons will be in this level, right? When we are considering the radical, in the radical there will be 3 electrons, right? And these 3 electrons can be in this way, 2 electrons here and 1 electron in this level, alpha level. Okay, and when we are considering the anion, then there will be the 4 electrons. Okay, so this will be in this manner, 2 electrons in this level and the 2 electrons in this level, right? Now we have to find out the energies. Okay, so in this case, when we are considering the cation, the pi electrons energy will be equal to this level, and this is vacant only in this level, so we have to write here 2 alpha plus root 2 beta. Okay, this will be the energy, right? Or we can write it 2 alpha plus 2 root 2 beta, right? When we are seeing the pi electrons energy in the case of radical, then this will be equal to this one, 2 alpha plus 2 root 2 beta, then 1 electron is here, so plus alpha, so this will be in this way. Now we can write here, this will be equal to 3 alpha plus 2 root 2 beta. Okay, in this way. Similarly, when we are seeing for the anionic case, in this case there are 2 electrons here, so we can write here 4 alpha plus 2 root 2 beta, in this way. Now see here a question that has been asked in December 2017 based on this particular topic. Question is quite simple. The electronic transitions energy from pi 1 to pi 2 in propenyl radical is 4.8 eV. Within the framework of Huckel theory, transition energy from pi 1 to pi 3 would be. Okay, so here we have given that when we are doing an electronic transition from pi 1 level to pi 2, this energy is, for this transition, the energy is 4.8 eV, and we have to give the energy for this transition pi 1 to pi 3, right? So this will be just double of it, because the levels are same, this gap is same, so this will be just double of 4.8. It means this level will be, now the energy will be 4.8 into 2, it means 9.6 eV. So if you know the concept, you can do such type of questions quite easily. Okay, now we have to see the secular determinant for the allyl radical, and this question was particularly asked in GATE 2012. Question is quite simple, and if you know, you can do very easily. So we know that this is a 3 into 3 system. We have to make a 3 into 3 secular determinant. Why? Because there are 3 number of carbon atoms. Okay, so either you can do it in a full description mode, it means you can write here H11 minus ES11 etc. Okay, or you can do in a short manner. For the linear polyenes, if acyclic polyenes we have given, then how to do this? See here, we have to make here a 3 into 3 matrix in this way. Okay, this is a 3 into 3 matrix. Okay, now write down here alpha minus E at the diagonals in this way, right? Okay, now at the side of this you have to write here beta in this way. This is beta. Okay, and this will be 0 because this is a acyclic polyene. So rest of the terms you have to write down 0. Okay, only this diagonals will be alpha minus E, then at the sides this will be beta, and then rest of the terms will be equal to 0. Okay, so in this way you have to write down the secular determinant. And if you have given in the terms of x, then just divide it by beta. So what you have to do in this way, at the diagonals you have to write down x, and then here you have to write down 1, okay, and then this will be equal to 0. So these two are the forms of the secular determinant. In the question paper we have given in this form. So this was the answer of this question, okay. If you have given in the form of x, then this will be answer, right? Okay, now we have to learn how to find out the wave functions for the bonding and the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And this particular question was asked in the June 2019 question paper. Here we have asked the highest energy pi orbital for allyl system. It means we have asked the anti-bonding molecular orbitals wave function, right? So we have to find out here the coefficients for the anti-bonding molecular orbital, okay. So we will learn here how to find out the wave functions for the allyl system, okay. So see here, firstly we have to write down here the secular determinant, as I have told you how to write it in this manner, x, 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 okay, and then this will be equal to 1, 1, this will be 1, and this will be 1, here will be 0, and this will be 0, right? This is the secular determinant, okay. Now what we have to do here, we have to write down C1, C2 and C3, okay. Now we have to make here the linear equations. In which way we have to make? Firstly for this one, okay, C1x plus C2, and this term will be, when we are multiplying this C3 with this 0, it will be equal to 0. So this is C1x plus C2 is equal to 0, right? Now see this one, this will be C1 plus C2x plus C3 will be equal to 0. Now see third one, this will be equal to 0, and this will be C2, C2 plus C3x will be equal to 0. So now we are getting 3 linear equations, okay, and we have to solve them for each type of orbitals by putting the values of x, okay. When we are solving this, we get that the x will have 3 values, 0, plus root 2 and minus root 2, okay. This will be for bonding molecular orbital, and this will be for anti-bonding molecular orbital, okay, and this will be for non-bonding molecular orbital. So we have to solve this for anti-bonding molecular orbital, okay. So we are putting here the value of x is equal to plus root 2. So put here, we will get C1 root 2 plus C2 is equal to 0. So now C2 will be equal to minus root 2 C1, right? Now put this value in this equation, so we are getting C1 plus, see here, C2's value we have get, this is minus root 2 C1, so we can write here, so minus root 2 C1, then its value is plus root 2 plus C3 will be equal to 0, okay. So when we are solving this will be minus root 2 into root 2, this will be equal to minus 2 C1, okay. So what we are getting, minus 2 C1 plus C1, so it will be equal to minus C1 plus C3 is equal to 0. So we are getting C1 is equal to C3, right? Now what we have to do here, we have to apply here the normalization condition. We know that C1 square plus C2 square plus C3 square is equal to 1, okay. So now we have to put all here in the terms of C1. So this will be equal to C1 square plus this, we can put here the value minus root 2 C1 square plus this will be equal to C1 square is equal to 1. So what we are getting, this will be equal to 2 C1 square. So whole will become equal to 4 C1 square is equal to 1. So here C1 square will be equal to 1 by 2. So we are getting C1 is equal to 1 by 2, right? So we are getting 3 values, C1 is equal to 1 by 2, then C3 will also be equal to 1 by 2, right? And when we are putting this value here, so we are getting C2 is equal to minus 1 by root 2, okay. Now we know that our wave function is a linear combination of C1 phi 1 plus C2 phi 2 plus C3 phi 3, and in this question we have given this phi1 we have given chi instead of phi, we have given this term. Okay, so we have to write down here chi1, chi2 and chi3, and we have to put here the values of this. This is equal to 1 by 2 and then chi1, and then put here value 1 minus 1 by root 2, and this will be equal to chi2, and then put here this value, this will be equal to 1 by 2 and then chi3. So this was our wave function that we have asked in the question paper. You can match that, option number C is the right answer. So this is for the anti-bonding molecular orbital, and it will have two nodes. Why? Because the wave function is changing sign two times, one time here and another time here. It is changing the sign two times, so it will have two nodes. Okay, similarly we can find out the wave functions for the bonding molecular orbital and non-bonding molecular orbital. When we are putting the value for the non-bonding molecular orbital, we have to put here the value x is equal to 0. So what we will get? We will get that this is psi3. Okay, so we will get psi2's value, that will be equal to 1 by root 2 chi1 minus 1 by root 2 chi3. Okay, and this will have one node. This is having two nodes, right? This will have one node because wave function is changing here one time sign here. Okay, similarly when we are putting the value of x is equal to minus root 2, then we are getting the wave function for bonding molecular orbital. You can do in the similar manner as I have done. So you will get a wave function in this manner, that is 1 by 2 chi1 plus 1 by root 2 chi2 plus 1 by 2 chi3. Now you can see here there is no change of sign, it means there is 0 node. So this is for the bonding molecular orbital. These two are not asked in the question paper. We have not given this one, we have asked only this one. Okay, this is not asked in the question paper. I am giving you this for your better understanding. Okay, in the question we have asked only this wave function. Okay, now the next thing that we have to see in the Huckel's molecular orbital theory is how to find out the pi electron charge density and the charge density on a particular atom. Because there was a question in December 2014 asked particularly on this topic. Here see, here again we have given the propenyl cation. Okay, so this term, this allyl radical or allyl system is very much important, so you should concentrate on this particular system. Okay, so here the question is, according to Huckel's theory, the pi electron charge on the central carbon atom in the propenyl cation, we have given the cation, okay, is in units of electronic charge. We have given 4 different options and we have to find out here the pi electron charge on the central atom. Now see here, firstly what is the formula for pi electron charge density? The formula is Q mu is equal to summation of n v c square and mu. Okay, now here n is the number of electrons in with molecular orbital, and c is the coefficient for that particular atom. Suppose we are seeing this particular, here we have given this system CH2 CH double bond CH2, and we have given here the cation. Okay, now see, this is 1, 2 and 3. We have to find out here the pi electron charge on the C2 carbon atom, right? The number of pi electrons here will be 2, and we have to take here the ground state wave functions. Why? Because we have not given here the excited state. So for the ground state we know that the wave function, what is, I have already told you that wave function is this one, 1 by 2 chi1 plus 1 by root 2 chi2 plus 1 by 2 chi3. Okay, so from this we can see that for the central atom this will be the coefficient C2. Okay, that is equal to 1 by root 2. So what will be your charge density on the second carbon atom? That will be equal to number of electrons here is 2 into 1 by root 2 square, right? So this will be equal to 2 into 1 by 2, it means equal to 1. So the pi electron charge on the central carbon atom is equal to 1. It means option number 3 is the right answer. Now if we have asked about this carbon or this carbon, then what we will do? Suppose they can ask about this carbon atom or this carbon atom. So we have to similarly apply here for Q1 or for Q3. Both have the same coefficients, we know. So we have to do in the same manner, in this way. So we will get, it will be equal to 0.5. But this is not asked in the question. We have asked this one, okay? This I am giving you for your better understanding, right? Now another term here is the charge density. This was pi electron charge, okay? This was pi electron charge. And this is charge density, that is represented by P, and this is given by 1 minus Q. Suppose we have to find out for central carbon atom, then this will be equal to 1 minus Q2. It means 1 minus 1, that will be equal to 0. Similarly, if we have asked for the 1 or 3 number carbon atom, then P1 or P3, then it will be equal to 1 minus Q3 or Q1. So it will be equal to 1 minus 0.5, or it will be equal to 0.5. Okay, so I hope all you will understand about this charge density and pi electron charge, and all the topics will be now very clear in your mind, because I have given you one example and I have tried to solve all of the questions. Okay, now the things that are remaining here is the system of 1,3-butadiene. Then we have to study about the cyclobutadiene, cyclopropenyl cations, all the cyclic type of systems, and solve several questions. That we will do in the next video, because this video is getting quite lengthy. Okay, so stay with us. Thank you.